My lifting progression through my career, my lifetime, you could say has been steadily increasing from year to year. From not doing anything in high school into really my freshman year of college being basic core, basic flexibility, hurdle drills, into after that we tried to get in the weight room a couple times and then didn't really pan out very well with the strength and conditioning coach at Akron.
It's got to be one of the best gyms.
We continue to maintain and grow our core regimen, our flexibility, etc., using bands, using hurdles, extending to using some med balls, some banded core assisted exercises in college. And then as I turned pro in 2016 going into the 2017 season, so post Rio, I started doing a lot more lifting inside of the weight room with the throws coach at Akron, and started Olympic lifting, started moving some weight around, doing pull-ups, doing push-ups, beyond just body weight exercises. That was kind of my 2017 season, and following that I moved to Portland, Oregon. I joined the Oregon Project, where strength and conditioning for the Oregon Project is a very crucial part of Alberto's plan and growth as you as an athlete. So spent a lot of time in the weight room doing a lot of functional stuff alongside of a little bit of Olympic lifting. And then once I moved back to Ohio and started training with Coach Labady again, I moved to the gym as you guys see in the video here, Game Speed Performance Academy with Coach Coleman. And then from there it became very intense, very specific, very targeted training in the weight room. The amount of weight that I lifted increased dramatically. My form increased and benefited from that dramatically. The way that I lift the weights, the type of lifts that I do that you guys see in these videos are very targeted, specific running exercises versus just how much can I lift. And so I think that's where it's very intense, it's very hard, it's a lot of weight, but everything that I do is very focused on the muscles that I need to use to run faster and be healthier when it comes to the training outside. Yeah, my season, as it progresses, lifting kind of progresses alongside of it. I'll go through different phases where I'll kind of build up into a certain phase. I'll maintain that phase for a couple weeks and then build into a different phase, just like we would when you come to training for your running side of it. Fall training's obviously a lot more built around the little things. We're doing a lot of more mechanical, a lot more minute details over and over and over again, working on weaknesses, working on things that we think potentially could be prone to being an injury spot come season as training increases. I'd rather not try it and not aggravate it, and then we have to potentially be careful the rest of the workout than just start fresh today and get solid all the way through. We'll do a little bit heavier weight in the fall, but I'd say that my heaviest part of my season is probably around this time of year. March, April, May is probably my heaviest part of the season. I'll build up to that here towards the end of March, beginning of April. I'll stay in that phase for a week or two as training kind of increases, and then once training kind of reaches a high intensity phase, I'll be in the high intensity of workouts in the gym. What you when I said earlier on the bike, my quads are heavy?
Yeah.
This is worse. And then as season grows and gets to its peak, I'll stay in the gym, I'll stay lifting, just becomes a lot more plyo based, a little bit less weight, a lot more quicker, a lot more explosive, a lot more fast twitch stuff in the gym that kind of relates to racing. I would say you target the type of lifts as the season goes on. I'm always targeting specific parts of my body, specific movements, specific tendons or muscles or joints or flexibility pieces that will translate to healthier and stronger outside training on the track. So as the season transitions, it becomes more, do we need to be faster and lighter, or do we need to be stronger and heavier?
Absolutely handsome. I'm saying, you can't blur out this beautiful face.
We can blur everything but that. All those great whiskers you got going on, my guy.
I got all this gray hair within the last 10 years.
What happened within the last 10 years? You took on two boys.
I have no idea.
You have no idea, just the two boys that were any other day and you storm it off. I think that's kind of what we're trying to target. Are we trying to build, or are we trying to maintain what we already have and become more explosive so that when I put my foot in the ground on the track that I get a better response because my body's stronger, my body's faster, my body is primed and ready to go. All right, all right, all right.
Yeah, so we're going to do an approach jump today.
Drop step one.
All right, sir. You need a lot of boxes. I'm getting.
So come here. Make sure you drop the butt. We explode up, but I want coming down slow. Really work on the VMO, engaging first the knees, not the butt. So engaging the knees, going first, down, down, down.
What you want me to do? 5 of them? You got the uncomfortable bar, man.
I got the uncomfortable bar?
The uncomfortable. You got uncomfortable grass, uncomfortable bars. Trying to toughen us up the wrong way.
My lifting has zero impact on what I do on the track. I think maybe there is like a 5% difference of the lift that I do prior to a race. That week of a race, I potentially maybe do a little bit stronger, heavier stuff than prior to an 8 compared to a 15.
If I don't engage my back just right, it kind of got a little.
Okay.
But I noticed it when I wasn't potentially engaging it right, so
Okay.
just watch that.
All right. So we'll probably go up in a couple pounds.
Yeah. All right.
Really overall work leading into a race, leading into what I'm doing over the next couple weeks race-wise, really doesn't change for me because I'm still working on the same mechanics, I'm still working on the same speed, I'm still working on the same functionality of running. The only difference is really when it comes down to it is the distance of the race, because the training for me in the gym only allows me to do more training outside, so it doesn't necessarily impact what race I do. I'm always sometimes wearing headphones in the gym. A lot of times Coach Coleman has music playing. It's a lot of like, sometimes he's playing gospel around Christmas. He loves his Christmas music. So there's always that going on in the gym. But when I got my headphones in, I'd say right now kind of go-to songs like Super Gremlin or anything Drake. I kind of mix it up. Sometimes I'll go with like more pop stuff, a little bit quicker. Sometimes I even lift the country. It really just depends on the day. But if I got a go-to song right now, it's Super Gremlin.
But I felt like I was truly engaging only those hamstrings and not anything else. There's nothing else they can engage on that, I feel like.
Right.
Whereas on that, you can engage calves, knees, backs.
A lot to this incorporated. That's what makes Nordic so good and so bad. The good part is that it does work it synergistically all the way through the whole posterior chain. But the bad thing is that it can work everything synergistically all the way through the posterior chain. You know what I'm saying? Our usual 2.7. How I feel today?
Why you guys say that? You got drive or 2.7? Maybe like 2.69, 2.68. Maybe if I hadn't done all those quad pulls, maybe I hadn't worked out. This is the 3rd workout of the day at this point. I'm gonna just get ready for 1.8 at a time.
I've been in the gym probably more hours than I've spent running since coming back from injury. There's a lot of targeted areas that we worked on to try to prevent this injury from coming back. I've been able to do a lot of stuff in the gym to stay fit and stay strong and work on some weaknesses, because running to me has been one of the hardest parts of coming back from this injury, versus being able to do some lifts and some type of sprints in the gym that for whatever reason my knee is allowing me to do more than what I can actually do in like jogging and track workouts. So I've really been able to target a lot of areas in the gym, a lot of VMO stuff, a lot of knee stuff, a lot of quad, hamstring, hip, a lot of those areas that kind of all translate to where my injury is from in that patella of the knee. I'm able to target the areas around that without risking the injury right now. So I spend a lot of time in the weight room as I come back from the injury. Man, when I step in the gym with Coach Coleman, a lot of the things that I think are some of my favorite things to do. I love just doing regular hex bars. I love trying to see how much weight I can move. It's just a little bit of a different way to be competitive within myself. I think box jumps are always fun to see what my vertical can be. Sprinting's always fun because we always put the clock on to kind of see how fast I am. It's also a protective of making sure that I'm running similar speeds throughout the workout. So the clock is not just necessarily racing the clock to see how fast I can go. It really is kind of watching and monitoring my progression throughout the workout, particularly. Some of the little things that I hate when we do, he's implemented these quad pulls backwards before the workout, so it's almost like 2 workouts in one. And then also, I really am not a huge fan of supine rows for whatever reason. I know I didn't do these in the video, but supine rows for me are really tough. I don't know. It's not even that they're tough. They aren't fun. So that for me is the ones that I always give Coleman a hard time about.
I know. I'm going to scoot it back when I said it.
I think I always make sure to watch my weight throughout this a little bit. I'm not on the scale every day. I'm not on the scale every single, even 3 or 4 days. Just kind of monitor my weight throughout the season, make sure that I'm staying a healthy, fit weight, race weight. I'm not adding enough weight that I'm trying to bulk up. I never do maxes. I never try to push beyond a reasonable limit where my form breaks down or where I'm trying to muscle it out. I go to that limit of where I'm really challenging my body and challenging myself, but I never push past that limit. So I'm never overlifting. We never do anything under 5 reps when it comes to Olympic style lifting. A lot of still body weight type stuff. A lot of stuff is very targeted muscle groups. So there's not a lot of, oh, how many back squats can we do or how many bench press we can do.
Most I felt both hamstrings I was sprinting.
At least you feel them the same. Yeah. It's not like one is like, ugh.
I don't do any of that type of stuff where it's non-targeted areas. So there's not really the opportunity to gain a lot of muscle or a lot of weight in there. It's more about turning excess fat into muscle or becoming a little bit more toned and fit and mechanically sound. See, I'll just take you through my gym week. So I go usually in the gym 5 to 6 days a week. My 2 hardest days in the gym are usually correspondent with my 2 hardest days outside on the track. I usually run in the track in the morning, then go back in the gym in the afternoon on the hardest days and keep the hard days hard and the easy days easy in my head. I'll have usually a plyo lighter day that usually I do in the morning, and then I go run in the afternoon. And then the 4th and 5th days really just depend on how I feel schedule wise. Sometimes I'll do a run right before the gym, go to the gym, do a core, do a flexibility day, get through some more really focused targeted area lifts, or then I'll lift in the morning and do that kind of lift and then go back in the afternoon and run. So to me, there's about 2 or 3 days out of the week where I can either lift in the morning, run in the afternoon, or run before and lift right after. And then the 2 hardest days are really where I try to work out in the morning, put an hour or 2 at least between my lifts to be able to eat lunch, recover a little bit, change my clothes, kind of reset myself mentally, and then get ready to go back in the gym in the afternoon. And that way then the other 3 or 4 days that I'm in the gym or easy running are really true recovery days for me, both mentally and physically. I think one of the things that you have to look at when you're lifting, especially if you're deal with a few injuries throughout your career or your current time training, is it's not necessarily focus on the actual injured muscle or the injury itself and focus around it and what might be causing it. A lot of what we do is focused around, well, if you have hamstring tightness or I have a hamstring pull or I have a knee issue, what might have caused that issue to come about? And so a lot of our training is focused around building the muscle groups around that. We all start in the hip, it all starts in the core. I rarely, I don't think I've ever done a basic core exercise that you could name off the top of your head. Everything's based around functional core. A lot of planks where you're bringing your knee up like a bicycle type deal, switching hands, doing it on a med ball where you have to balance, where you have to station your core. A lot of eccentric pull-ups, plyo pull-ups. Very rarely do you ever do a normal type exercise because you're focusing on more than just the group that you think is the injury part, or you're trying to get stronger, because everything has to go with it. So your hip flexors have to grow with your core so your core can engage and then your hip flexors can engage. So there's all a big jigsaw puzzle, and you need to look at all the pieces to make sure that you have it put together the right way.
That's why I think they come. I think they come to me broke so they can get fixed. That's what initially that's what he was. He was broken ass dang there. Initially, hamstring was all jacked up. Then he caught COVID because we were supposed to meet like a month earlier, right?
No, what make me talk and do this? I finished today's workout and I hopped on Coach's bike instead of running and did cool down on his bike down the parking lot for 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And I could even feel it just on my quads on like the flat parking lot, just biking around. It's not like I'm a spry chicken today. I just think that, young whippersnapper anymore.
He's 26 years old. He's not a young whippersnapper.
Excuse me.
I'm 50.
Excuse me, 27.
I'm 50.
27.
I'm 50.
27.
I'm old enough to be his dad.
You didn't wish me happy birthday, so you wouldn't even know. Huh? You didn't wish me happy birthday, so you wouldn't know that I turned 27.
Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
What's it called? Wish you happy birthday.
Who?
The Wi-Fi. You look at your emails.
Oh, the one that I get every single night that says I owe you money? when I wake up at 6 a.m. and it's like, can you turn those off since we all like an agreement now? Game Speed Performance Academy.
Give my money.
Yeah, giving you your money.
Does it actually matter for runners?
Here, I got an answer for that. A lot of people think runners shouldn't lift, but I think runners need to look at lifting as an opportunity to run more. The gym doesn't need to make you faster or make you stronger. It obviously can have a direct impact on that. But I look at lifting as a direct impact that I can go out and do more on the track, which in turn makes me faster.